No, I won't.
Hello, welcome to the Deep End Gaming Podcast, a podcast where we take a look at the deeper end of the board gaming hobby. Today, I'm joined by my fellow hosts, Clay Ross, owner of Capstone Game, and a man who I can assure you has nipples that are the same color as his lips, and Ryan Hutzler, heavy game aficionado for the Dice Tower, and a man who cried a little too hard as a child during Free Willy. I'm Joe Wiggins, and if you care to know who I am or what I do, if you were to think of the Deep End Podcast as an after-school Saturday punishment in which we must all reflect upon our life choices that brought us here, that turns into a life-changing event for all of us, I would be Anthony Michael Hall. We are a podcast about heavy games for heavy gamers and definitively answering the question, what movie got snubbed in the Oscars? So we're going to talk about Oscar snubs, man. So they released the Oscar nominees, and if you're anything like me, it's the most exciting day of the year, right? Probably not. But one thing is interesting. What movie got snubbed? How are you doing, Ryan? How's life, man?
Pretty good. I've been trying to catch up on my Oscar nominees because I'm behind. But life's good. Watching a lot of movies, getting ready to travel a whole lot and not watch as many movies. Let's see. Oscar snub. Well, I know why it was snubbed. And I don't think it would have won anything in particular. But I'm going to go with The Disaster Artist. I think it at least deserved a nomination for something, and it didn't get it. And I think we all know why it didn't get it. But
it did get best adapted screenplay.
Oh, sure, that's right. But I think overall, there could have been more nominations, and I think they were intentionally avoided because of Franco. So, yeah,
I think so. Clay is probably looking up the Oscar nominees right now.
Is my screen being shared right now?
No. We just know that you don't know anything.
By the way, I do not prep these guys at all for this stuff, so this is all on the fly. So
yeah, unless you already know something about it, Joe surprises you every time. So
yeah.
All right, Clay.
2 kids, man. It's so hard to go out and see movies, especially the new ones. I'm just
like 2 kids. I don't know that movie.
Dunkirk, I guess, would be the biggest one I would say. I haven't seen it, but
it was nominated though.
It was? Okay.
Yeah. A snub is like where it should have been nominated.
I don't know. I don't even know if it's been nominated, dude. I have no idea.
Dunkirk was only nominated for Best Picture, so and also
no big deal.
Score. Hey, it got score, visuals. It got a lot.
What I meant was, never mind. I'm saying it only got it.
Yeah, like Best Picture.
It didn't. It wasn't in the big 6. It wasn't like director, actor, actress. Yeah. All right, but there wasn't really any acting in that one that I thought could have been nominated, right? Like it wasn't about people. It was about what happened, right?
Yeah.
I don't know. Anyways, it made sense why it wasn't nominated for a lot of stuff, but
it wasn't
whatever.
Snubbed, we'll put it that way.
Okay, so I love the Oscars. We'll talk about that more later, but I feel that in the Best Picture, if there should have been maybe something that snuck in there, Wind River was really good this year.
Dude, yes.
I watched that, came out of nowhere, and that movie was great. But I feel the biggest snub is an animated. They did not put Lego Batman in animated, and they put shit like Boss Baby in there. What?
Yeah, I don't understand how Boss Baby's in there. I mean, I think Coco's going to take it anyway, but
I saw Boss Baby because my 3-year-old liked it, and it wasn't anything. I mean, Lego Batman for sure would be way better than that any day.
But here's the thing: they didn't put Lego Batman. Maybe you have to really like Batman, but it was really smart, well done. But they didn't nominate the Lego movie either for animated the year that it came out, and that had to have been. I mean, that's been the best animated film in years. The original Lego movie. I don't know what their deal is and why they're snubbing it. But anyways, that's us talking about Oscar snubs, which is what we know you guys come here for. That is
Saying,
wild.
like they pay any attention to the animated category anyway, Joe. So
Yeah, right. You guys came here to hear us, complain about why Lego Batman isn't in the Oscars. But all right, but we are going to be talking about heavy games today. Hopefully, probably we're going to be talking about games anyway. At least we'll talk about games, right?
I'm just looking at the notes.
Probably.
I'm just looking at the notes. Fucking.
Oh, it's going to be good. I'm excited. Actually, this is going to be a good episode. Last episode was a little different for us, but this is going to be a good one. We are going to be getting into it, and we are going to be talking about heavy games. And Ryan, not too heavy, but I am curious. We're gonna talk about this movie. All right.
Movie. Well, so we're talking about movies. This one's not a movie. This one's a game. But we're going to talk about a game now, and that game is Charterstone. So yeah, like Joe said, not particularly heavy, but I did play a lot of it in the last month. Actually, I played all 12 games of the I guess legacy campaign that you would call it in the last month, and it does get not heavy, but at least heavier than it starts out. Towards the end. I don't want to say too much in case people are playing this, but if you haven't heard of it, I don't know where you've been living. Charterstone is the legacy game from Stonemaier Games. Jamie Stegmaier designed, I believe it. I believe he designed it as well. I didn't really look, but and the idea behind the game is that you start out with a very basic worker placement euro. Essentially, you place or take a worker or take your workers off. With very few actions, and throughout the game, more and more things unlock. I won't say what unlocks, but the complexity not ratchets up, but does increase slightly as you progress through the game. Joe, I know you've played it as well, although not properly. Not properly, but I really enjoyed it. So we went through all 12 games. I only won 5 of the 12 games, but I did win the overall campaign. I don't know. I liked it, but I'm sure you'll talk about it. So,
yeah. I had a group, and we read the rules to Charterstone together, all of us, and we were very certain that some things worked the way that they did, and we found out 6 games in. We played 6 games of this legacy game, and found out that we had overlooked an incredibly crucial rule. Like I explained to Ryan what we did, and there was no fixing it. Like the game, the game's trash. We have to buy like a recharge pack and redo it. And apparently a lot of people have done this. Like it wasn't just us, it was a lot of people. Ryan's group did not do this.
So if you read the rules, so I'm not getting on you because I understand that it's common. But if you read the rules and don't interpret them, if you read them as they are written, it does tell you that what you did is wrong.
Okay. Yes, but it tells you in a way that it says, this is how this works. This is how this works. Because the way the rules are written is like hard, like, right?
It does not explicitly tell you that this is this. That's the thing. It is what you're getting at. It is this, also but it doesn't tell you that.
But it's also in like 2 different sections on 2 different pages that you need to tie them both together to understand the way the mechanism works.
I guess you should just read more rule books, Joe. I'm just saying.
Okay. Yeah. No, it's fine. It's fine. But
I get your problem. I understand it.
But here's the thing. I even playing it wrong, we really enjoyed our plays. We really had a fun time kind of going through it. But I will say, on the Stonemaier website, there is a big thing that's like, after game 1, read this. After game 2, read this. Before you play your first game, read this. Read that stuff. Because it will save you all the frustration of what me and apparently lots of other groups have experienced. I'm not saying it's their fault. I'm just saying, like, it can happen, and it's easy for it to happen. So be careful. Be very cautious playing this and take the time to read everything, to understand everything, and not just to be like, oh, I guess this works this way. Because that's the problem with the legacy game, right? You can't undo. There's no undo button. And so we are 6 games in, and can't even finish. Like, we just had like a big thing happen. We got to game 6, right? A big thing just happened, but we're just done. And maybe we'll play again in a couple months when we're not all so angry and bitter. But
hey, and if you didn't have that problem, it was a good time. So
yeah, like I'm not angry. I'm not sad it happened. I'm just mad that we can't finish, right?
sure.
And we really can't keep going, right? Like, we can't keep going. There's no point.
No,
Buy the recharge pack. Just do it, man.
He's broken the game, unfortunately.
Clay, what about you, man?
Yeah.
You gonna play some Charterstone?
I would. I need to get a consistent group. It's really hard to do that right now. But I want to do the legacy thing. I haven't done it, and I think I would do Charterstone over Pandemic. I think those are the big ones that are out there.
You should definitely do Charterstone over Pandemic.
Yeah. Is Gloomhaven, is that legacy or is that more of just campaign dungeon crawl?
It's like ish.
Yeah, I definitely want to
Yeah.
do Gloomhaven though for sure. But yeah, Charterstone looks cool, man. It looks really fun.
Okay, so I guess it is. I guess Gloomhaven is like legacy, if you how you define it. But I would definitely say like the better way to describe Gloomhaven is like if you've ever played like Skyrim or something like that. That's what Gloomhaven is in a board game. Like it's just open world RPG. Yeah.
Oh.
So very
That's cool.
freedom as far as like what you can do in a board game, right? There's a lot of freedom in it. So
Right
that's
on there.
that. All right.
Yeah,
well,
I'll be sure to read the rules correctly in
hey,
English.
tangent. So this is the first legacy game that's really had like a hard Euro bent, right? Like the other ones have been like very much story based, you know, kind of stuff. I don't think you can call Pandemic like a Euro. Do you think that there is room or a market or a possibility of a heavy Euro that's going to come out?
That would be wow. That would be a challenge to put out.
Yeah, no, I don't know if there is room for it. That's my answer to that. I mean, I would buy it, but I don't know how many people would buy it and how many people would have the group to play it consistently. The nice part about Charterstone is it's Euro, but you can play 3 games in 3 hours easily with my group.
Wow.
A legacy game where you're introducing a million rules and the rules are changing every game. I mean, and like a heavy level Euro where the rules are changing every game. I think that's a lot more complicated. I'm not saying it's impossible. I just don't know if there's a market for it that's realistic.
So there's supposed to be this game coming out at some point. I've forgotten all about it, but it's like a Civ game where you start with a civilization, and the first game you buy the box, and it's like this, like you play 6 games, and your civilization is like grows and expands or whatever, and then the next box that you buy, you take your civilizations and transfer them into this game in some way, and then you start like the next age, and then at the end of that, like one of them becomes like the government, and now you're like playing like the civilization, not, I don't know. That was interesting. But Chronicle, yeah, that's what it was.
Yeah, Artana's doing that. I don't know if it's happening, but
haven't heard anything about it in so long, right?
Yeah.
But anyways, all right. Well, that is Charterstone and our talk a little bit about legacy games. But I have a game that kind of came out of nowhere. I played a game that I've heard about, and I've been very hesitant on playing for a while because every time someone brings it up, I'm like, But I played Patch History on last Sunday, and it was really good. So Patch History is a civilization style game. You know, you buy leaders, you buy wonders, you build your economy up, you collect resources, you spend it to get better things and stuff like that. Typical Civ stuff, you get more workers, you feed more workers, that kind of stuff, right? But what you're doing is you're buying these cards that you're buying, and you have to patch them into your civilization. Like, it's really weird. And so there's like this dead space on the cards and this water that you really can't build over. So it kind of has this thing, but you're like building the civilization. And so it's like gimmicky, right? It's like really weird and odd and not normal. And you think like, oh, that couldn't be that good, especially for people that are like into Through the Ages and Nations and the actual civilization stuff. You're like, it's probably just some whatever boring game. This game is really good, guys. Like, I mean it. And the weird thing is it has a really deep civilization feel. I was blown away by this game. It was tight. It was really tense. Every decision was super meaningful. There's an auction in this game that got super cutthroat. Like it was a very cutthroat auction when you bid on the tiles that you patch into your civilization. Very cutthroat for that auction. And it was really good. And it took us like 3.5 hours for 4 players to play this one. So, I mean, it had a deep, long, progressive civilization style feel. Like it felt like a Nations, like a Through the Ages. I recommend this one, guys. I think it's really good. Have you guys played it?
Nope.
I haven't. I know exactly what you're talking about, and it's something I've wanted to try, but I don't know. One of my good friends has it, and it's one of those games that suffers from it's just difficult to get to the table for some reason. I don't know what it is, but it's something I want to try though.
It's good. I recommend it. It's weird, but it's weird in a good way. I like my games a little bit on the quirky side, and I feel like this is like as quirky as you can go for a Civ game, right?
Yeah, I'm looking at a picture on Board Game Geek, and it's like a quilt of famous people and places.
And you see that, and you're like, this is dumb, but playing it is really good. Like the rules for patching and how you do it is really good. And it makes it really tough because the tiles you get really affect what you can do in the game and really change the way things work. It was really crazy. And I lost like everything in the first age. At the end of the first age, there's some scoring, and the scoring is really brutal. I actually, let me talk about how the scoring works real quick because it's really cool. So everybody gets 3 cards that you are going to score during the game, right? At the very beginning. And at the end of all 3 ages, you have to give 1 card out, and you collect votes during the age. And at the end of the ages, once you show whatever all the cards are, you get to cast your votes for which one's going to score. The one that gets the least amount of votes is kicked out. Doesn't score at all. Then the one with the most votes is going to the other ones are going to score. And the way it scores is whoever has the most in that, the number of votes on that card, you get points. Whoever has second most, you get half the points. Third place gets nothing, and fourth person loses points equal to the number of votes. So in the first age, like I got last place in everything because I wasn't focused on the goals. I was focused on building my civilization better. But then I came back and like won the game by a lot. So you can come back from it, which was good because I was devastated after the first age. I lost everything, but it was good. Really good. Recommend. 2 thumbs up for me. Patch history. Give it a shot. Look into it. Give it a try. Clay. You played a game, right?
Really branching out, Clay. Really branching out.
Guys, I am checking off all the boxes on this game for its expansions and everything. It's called Concordia, and
the Deep End Podcast, brought to you by who made
Concordia?
Mac Gertz.
PD Games. Who's PD Games?
PD Vera?
Anyways.
Yeah, so I played the brand new map finally, the Egypt and Crete map, and my wife and I play this game a lot. And Crete is the 2-player. Yeah, right. Soccer. No, so I played Crete, and it's like Corsica. I don't know if you guys know that map. It's a really tight map. What's really cool about the Crete map is there's one province that has only one city in it. So if you're playing the province card, you got to go there, and it could be really expensive depending on the type of good that's there. There's also this. It's kind of gimmicky where when you take the prefect action and on the little tiny island in Crete, you get to choose whatever good that you get there. It's kind of like it's like a wild. I wasn't a big fan of it. If I were going to play between the two, Corsica and Crete for 2 players, I would probably choose Corsica. It's just a little bit cleaner in my opinion, but Crete was pretty cool. On the backside, you got Egypt. I have not played that version yet, but that's next on the
next
list.
episode.
Hey, this is foreshadowing right now. Just putting that out there.
Wow.
It was a good time though, man.
It's
I
not
love
even
Concordia.
fun to make fun of you anymore.
I need a
Oh.
new game. We got to get a
I
new
think
game.
it's pretty fun.
Okay, so on the note of Concordia, I guess I'll say this. I got Transatlantic, and I've played that like 3 times.
You hold on. You hold on. You hold
Oh,
on.
Are we talking about that?
Why don't we just segue right into it, Ryan?
Yeah, segueing into Transatlantic.
Yes.
I played
Wait,
Transit.
Is this what you're talking about?
Yep.
You changed it?
He
I
did.
changed everything. I'm messing with your mind, my friend.
All right.
So
I
deep.
copy and paste it so I can have my notes.
Oh man, why don't you just load the page? It seems okay. Anyhow,
Because then you'll know all the secret things I'm going to talk about.
Me and Ryan were typing love letters to each other.
that's right. We were talking about how much Clay loves Concordia and how Transatlantic is the Concordia. I said of the air. I don't know what I was typing. Of the sea.
Yeah.
So
How he has perfect Hershey Kiss nipples.
that's right. So I played Transatlantic. I had a business trip to Malta, of all places. And while I was there, I met up with one Rado
Nice.
and played Transatlantic with Rado in Gozo on Malta. In Malta.
Wow.
So he taught the game, which was good, and I think he got all the rules right. I didn't really pay attention because I didn't read the rule book. But the game is actually pretty good. I know, Clay, you said it looks really fiddly, and so I mean, I guess. I mean, if you've played a million games of Concordia, you probably don't like the changes that have been made. But so this is a Gertz game where instead of a rondel, there is no rondel. It's all a hand of cards. And so it's an action selection out of the cards you have in your hand to choose what you're going to do. And they give you some cards to copy actions of other players. They give you some cards for buying ships or for getting coal to power those ships. Or for building the actual ship, for getting more money, various things like that. And there's several different ways you can score points or get more money, I guess the point would be. Be it placing ships in particular areas or operating those ships to get the money. Or sometimes there are cards that give you points for the amount of passengers the ship can carry. There are benefits for placing ships that are better than all of the previous ships in routes. All in all, I thought it was pretty good. I mean, I'm not going to go out and buy a copy because I'm not that big of a fan. But I like the concept of acquiring new and better cards, using those cards optimally, and then picking your hand back up. Now, I lost to Rado, so clearly I wasn't that good at the game. But I thought it was enjoyable. I'm just not going to buy it. So, Joe?
It's a lot. It's a lot Concordia.
I didn't hear what you said.
It's
a lot.
built
What?
on the same bones as Concordia.
Yeah, it is.
And it's literally half the game that Concordia is. Concordia is way, way, way better than Transatlantic.
I haven't
by
played
a
Concordia in
long shot.
forever. It's been a really long time. So
I mean, it's Concordia with the map cut off, basically. Because here's the thing: is I played Transatlantic like 3 times, and it's really the same card system. The cards don't do nearly as interesting things as they do. The cards are literally like, hey, take one of these tokens, or take some coal cubes, or buy a card, or like that's what all the cards do. And you play these cards, and you buy boats, and you put boats into the the rows, and when you do that, you get some stuff, and that's it. And then you like get money from your boats, and it really is just it is Concordia is head and shoulders above Transatlantic. Don't even bother with Transatlantic. I would say it's just not as good. Don't play.
That seems like a fair assessment. I would go with that if you're already got Concordia.
What I know, so I did just a rules read, really deep rules read with playing with the pieces and moving them around just to see the feel, what kind of mood you get with the game. And I did notice, like you said, it's Concordia with the card system where you have the cards and whatever. You play a card and do it on your turn. I didn't feel like it.
Yeah.
All right, buddy. I felt like you didn't get the feel of moving around a map. You're not moving your ships really. You're just putting them on this tile, and they just eventually shift down and out of out of the system or something. I forget how the whole mechanics work, but it didn't feel like to me, it didn't feel like you're actually navigating around the world, if you know what I mean. Like these books used to.
No, it was like it was if it was considered an economic game, it's like the most boring economic game I've ever played. I got nothing out of it. It's going on the sell pile. It's bad. So if you want to buy a copy of it, let me know. Hit me up, guys, because I got a very slightly. You don't own a copy. So Ryan, I can't talk to you about the weird insert that they did in that.
I know what you're talking about.
Oh, bizarre. It's like all these punchboard pieces, and you make this like clip together thing, and it goes in the box.
And it doesn't work.
So it makes this like 9 compartment thing. And I'm like, why? Like, just put everything in a bag. Why does this need to exist?
I mean, unless your insert is amazing, you shouldn't have an insert. So that's my short rant on inserts.
I agree with that. All right. Well, we're going to go right into the game I played. And this is an oldie but a goodie. And I don't think I've talked about it on the podcast. So I'm going to talk about a little game called Brew Crafters. I've kind of been doing a lot of Euro lately. Like I've been really So I've been really getting into Euros, back into I'm playing like some of the good ones I really enjoy. And Brew Crafters is, I would say, a highly underrated game in the heavy game community, because I feel like people see Brew Crafters and they're like, cool theme, but Agricola is better. Agricola is better. Maybe.
I was going to say, which is true. So,
okay. So this is the way I sell Brew Crafters. I was like, Brew Crafters is like Agricola, because I feel it's just as stressful. Like getting your workers paid is just as hard as feeding your people in Agricola. And I've played them both in like the last 2 weeks. And I played with Farmers of the Moor, and I played Brew Crafters with the advanced variants. And I got to say, I like Brew Crafters a lot. I don't know if it's better, but it's on par at least. But here's the thing about Brew Crafters. You're running a brewery, and it's worker placement, but there's 2 phases of worker placement, where one, you're kind of doing the collect resources, get stuff, upgrade stuff. But then there's another one where you don't block, but you're like upgrading technology. You're adding on to your brewery, and there's like 10 different buildings that all do very different things and change the way that you play the game. Then there's actually brewing the beer and going through. There's like this collaboration aspect to it that's really fascinating and really good. There's some really neat worker placement spots that do much cooler stuff than just, I'm going to grab some wood, or I'm going to grab some sheep. There's some really interesting stuff. There's all of these like special power characters that you can get that really break the game. And you have a technology track too. You have this tech track that really affects the way that you do things. And the tech track is really well done. I think Brew Crafters is like this close to being like in like a top 20 game for me. Like if I did my top 20s, it might be up there for me. It's really good. So the way when I talk to people about Brew Crafters, I tell them, I'm like, it's Agricola, but instead of like scratching your way to survive and like play the game, you are like finding these amazing combos that just help you get super powered and like find incredibly amazing combinations in the game. And that's what I feel it is. Like, oh man, this game I got the coffee roaster and I got the brew pub expert, and then I made all of this stuff happen. And it's really a great game when it comes to that. Still very tight. You run a production line. It's very interesting. A lot of infrastructure to manage. I love it. I think Brew Crafters is an amazing game. I really think that if you have not played this and you're a fan of Agricola, give it a shot. See what you think.
I want to play
Ryan,
that game.
You did a lot of shaking your head there. You did
it
not.
Was thoroughly okay. That's, again, it's been a really long time since I've played, but when I got it, I played it and I found it, quite frankly, somewhat derivative, and it just didn't do Agricola as well as Agricola did, and so I got rid of it.
Okay, so this is not me anything, but Ben Rossett is.
I love Ben, great guy. First off,
yeah, and he works for Panda, so I know him pretty well. And he actually it's his first game design. And he started designing games by creating his own custom Agricola decks. And then Brewcrafters was his first game.
Sure.
It almost kind of makes sense. It was like a natural evolution, but I feel like it does enough stuff differently that I don't feel bad owning both. And I feel like there is always a time that I will probably 7 times out of 10 pull Agricola over Brewcrafters, but those 3 times out of 10 that I feel like pulling out Brewcrafters over Agricola, I have a great time playing it. I really do. It's fantastic.
Again, it's been forever, but I don't remember. I didn't hate it. I didn't need it. Let's put it that way.
I think at first blush, it can come off as like, this is like an Agricola ripoff. But I feel like if you play it a few times, I feel like there's a lot of neat stuff in it that really starts to come out. So
sure.
All right.
Yes. So one of my good buddies out of Columbus, he is all about home brewing. Like he is hardcore into home brewing, and I know he would like games like the Euro style games, and I just want to give him like Brewcrafters. I think that would be a cool. I don't know if it's too heavy for him or not because he's never really played any of these style games, but just based on what you're talking about, how it's like you get to experiment with the different styles of beer and like combo it and everything like that. I really think he would dig this game a lot. And just the nature.
I do want to say one negative thing about the game though. So they have this really beautiful art on all of the cards, and like the beer cards are really pretty. Like they look really cool, like the different fake beers that they all made, right? And then your player board is really cool because it's like an overhead view of you putting together like a brewery. But the main player board where you take your actions is the ugliest thing I've ever seen. It's like they ran completely out of money, or their graphic designer died before they got to that, and they had to like rush it to the printer because everything is gorgeous in the game. The main board where you take your actions is ugly as sin. So I will give it like one huge criticism is it's very distracting to be like everything beautiful, and then the main thing that you're doing is super ugly. But
it looks cool, man. I'd play it for sure.
Yeah.
But you know what I played lately that's really close to Brewcrafters that you were just talking about?
Concordia?
Concordia, the card game. No.
Oh, man, that's
what
great.
if they made a Concordia the card game?
They probably will. Did you hear they're making a Keyflower card game?
Are you serious? A Keyflower card game?
Keyflow or something like that. I'm over it. I'm done.
I don't know about
many key games, man. Keyflower is so good.
Yes,
I get down with some
Keyflower
different key games. I don't want a Keyflower card game.
Not me. All right.
Have you played Keeper yet? Sorry, quick aside.
More like yucky games.
Yeah. Oh my god, what is this?
Oh my god.
I'm gonna just go now. Bye, guys.
And on that note, thank you for watching The Deep End. No.
Like, go ahead. I'm done.
Right.
That just popped into my mind. I was like, I can't not say that.
Yeah, it was awesome.
Nobody answered me. Has anybody played Keeper?
Yeah. We'll talk.
Okay, we'll
bring it up. We'll talk about it sometime.
Okay, next time.
All right, so my wife actually got me Agricola, the revised edition for Christmas. And so I wanted, because she's played Patch History. She's played Patchwork, Cottage Garden, Fields of Arla, a lot of the new Uwe stuff that's really, not as stressful as the older titles. And I wanted to give her, because she really likes the Uwe style games, and I just wanted to introduce her to classic Uwe.
Yeah, Uwe's getting soft, man. He in his easy peasy, easy going board game bullshit. Yeah. You're like, come on, be me.
When we get back to spotlights, we need to hit Uwe. I don't think we've talked about him in a while.
Yeah.
Or did we do Uwe? No, we did Feld.
To be fair, the proper pronunciation of his name is Uwe, but yeah.
Oh, Uwe.
Oh, sorry.
Sorry,
German.
You guys are best friends.
Learn to pronunciate, my friends.
Don't spell your name with a W if you don't want it to be pronounced with a W.
Fair.
All right, so
damn
back
Germans.
to Agricola. So I got the new revised edition. Have you guys seen it, or do you know anything about the new revised edition?
I've seen
a new edition.
It's so what they're doing with Agricola is they're making it, in my opinion, from what they're doing with the graphic design and the rules and everything, they're trying to make it more mainstream, like a Catan. Just getting it into make it like a Catan-esque style game where everybody knows what you're talking about when you say Agricola. But the card deck for minor improvements and occupations is just been reduced and streamlined. Yeah, and that's the thing, man. That really bummed me out because you get when you open the game, you're looking for the deck of cards. In the original game that I had, it was a monster deck. You guys know there's like 3 different decks in it.
I mean, I had like 18 decks when I had Agricola, so...
Yeah, what are you holding up, Joe? What is that? So you get
I have to have an
cards.
expansion box because I have like 20 decks for Agricola.
Yeah, that's what I had going on when I had
So
it.
the new edition, God, I hope I have it down here, guys. I wanted to show you the cards. Yes, I do. Let me just break it out real quick. But the
Got
cards
that
in this
fairy
edition-
deck.
The
I had that
fairy
one.
deck?
Yeah.
This right here is all of the cards in the game.
Jesus.
This includes your round cards, the loan cards.
That's awful.
That's
Your
like
major
33% round cards.
Oh, it's just not. It's not even. I just feel like all the variability is gone. I don't know. I'm just kind of bummed out about that. But they streamlined it super. Like all the cards are completely different.
So I skipped out on getting this version of Agricola because they've been teasing us. It's probably vaporware at this point, but there's supposed to be like a 10th anniversary of Agricola coming out that's supposed to have like 500 cards and like all like tournament like played out into different sections and stuff like that. And they've been teasing it forever that there's supposed to be some grand edition, but that's what I'm holding out for. But
if it's a 10th anniversary edition, they missed it. So
yeah, that's what it was.
I was just gonna say, like the meeples that come in this game are just phenomenal. The animeeples, the veggie meeples, whatever. Everything is just its own little cut size and everything. The board is a fold-out board, and it's just really beautiful. They've got variant tiles in it that really loosen the game up, just ridiculously loosen the game up. Yeah,
everything you're saying is bad.
Yeah, and that's the thing. So I sold I have the original copy with all the cubes, and I was like, I like the Animeeples. Let's just get the new revised edition. So she got it for me, and we played it, and we played the old school way with no variant tiles, and I just loved it because around round 2 or 3, it clicked for her, and I hate this game. God dang it, I hate this game. It was just awesome just to see her stress through it, but she ended up whooping me, man. It was like 30-23. She's so good at these games, man. I have a really hard time beating my wife, but in these games, that sounds really bad. Oh my God. But
also, she's supposed to hate you, not the game, by the way. It's not the game's fault.
It was cool, man, just to see her like figure things out. It's a stressful game, but it's fun at the same time. And at the end, she was like, "That was a lot of fun. I really liked how tense that was." So,
Clay's living in a Scorsese film, man. He's just beating women.
Jesus, man.
My turn.
Yes.
So I played another game. It's like a different game, but not a game we've talked about. But I wanted to compare it to something. So I played. Altiplano or Altiplano or whatever the hell the name of it is. It's Altiplano, but I played that. Altiplano, yeah. We played that one. It's very, very Orleans or Orleans or whatever the hell you want to call it in its nature. It's basically the same game. I mean, so the mechanisms are all the same, but it adds a movement element for a pawn that you have to move to the appropriate spot of I guess you would call them adjustable, or what the hell is the word I'm looking for? Modular. There we go. Modular boards that have different activities associated with them. So you're drawing chips from your bag. You're placing them onto your own player board to take these actions, but you have to move your pawn to the right area before you can take those actions. And I think this adds a good amount to kind of the engine that you have to put together, or the timing that you have to accomplish in order to actually play the game well. That with the fact that when you get new chips, they go into kind of a discard pile and then into your bag, I think makes the game a little bit more interesting as you're truly kind of deck building as opposed to what you were doing in Orleans, which wasn't really truly deck building or bag building in the same sense. So I don't know. Joe, I know you've played it.
Yeah, I played it once, and it was not a good play, but I enjoyed it a lot. I think when I got done with it, I really felt that it had kind of enough to stand on its own apart from Orleans, but it really is a fascinating game. I think there is more to do in this game than in Orleans. In Orleans, you play it enough, and honestly, you start being like, oh, I want to get these buildings, or I want to build this engine, or this is what I'm going to go for. And I feel like Altiplano has like different venues that you can go down to try to accomplish different things. I had a lot of fun like filling my warehouse, which was like a brand new thing that you can do in this game.
Yeah.
You know, I really like the movement mechanism. I really enjoyed all of the different things and how the tiles where you went were kind of different. The one thing I did notice is all three of us started with like one resource that the other players like could not get, or was like very difficult for them to get. And that kind of made it seem like, oh, well, for your first 5 turns, you're doing this because you start with this kind of resource. So you're just going to be focused in on that. And then the other players are going to have to figure a way around that, or they don't have access to this thing. It's very strange. That was one
I don't know if that ends up working out for you if you do that kind of focusing. So we had a guy who basically it wasn't exclusive access to diamond, or not diamond. It's metal, some type of metal, silver. That's what it is, silver. And while he had a much easier chance of getting it, and silver's worth a significant amount of points, he over-focused on it and then couldn't do anything else in the game. So he lost, even though he had a ton of silver with a ton of points, just didn't do him any good. But yes, there is a very important aspect to paying attention to the resources that you cannot get from the base player board. I called them Brita water filters, but I think it's glass. And silver.
I know exactly what you're talking about.
Yeah, it looks like a Brita water filter, pouring thing. So if I think you really need to focus on how you're going to find a way to get those resources, because otherwise you're going to be in trouble if you don't pay attention to that.
It's pottery, right? It's pottery.
I thought it was glass. I don't know. It looks like it looks exactly like one of the pitchers that you get that's a Brita water filter pitcher. So that's what I call them.
Yeah. I'm interested. I'm waiting for it to get released here so I can get a copy.
I pre-ordered it.
Yeah, I'm about to. I've got like a lot of stuff I need to pick up. Like I don't have a copy of Keeper, but I've played it a lot. I want to try Pulsar, but we'll see. Yeah.
Welcome
all right.
to Centerville. Don't forget about Welcome to Centerville.
Yeah.
No, you don't know it.
I know it. We'll see.
Oh, you didn't like it? Or have you played it?
Urban Sprawl, the dice game.
No, it's like it has the Yahtzee mechanic, so that right there is kind of like really has me iffy on it.
Well, I'll let you know. I'll have a copy coming.
I'll get it played eventually. We'll see. Well, right now Chad Jensen is hit and miss, so we'll see, right?
Yeah.
All right, so I'm going to talk about a game because I don't think we've talked about this. I'll change it up if I've already. Have we talked about Gaia Project yet?
Yes, but I've played it since, so
I don't remember if we talked about Gaia Project last week because we went through all of the Essing games. I don't feel like we really dug deep into it.
That's fine.
So
I've played it since we've talked about it. So
I haven't, guys. Come on. I'm just kidding.
Well, way to suck. It's in many ways, it's a lot like Concordia.
Is it? So I need to play it. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Okay.
Well, I mean, if you've played Concordia, you've basically played it. So feel free to jump in with any opinions you might have.
Okay. My favorite card
is... Gaia is Terra Mystica in space. That is what it is.
It's better than that.
It is. So I remember a day. I'm very interested, and now that I heard that, I'm very, very fascinated to hear what Ryan has to say because I loved this game and I played it several times. Got early, and I probably played it like 8, 9, 10 times at this point. But I remember telling everybody in the chat, this game is way better than Terra Mystica. And Ryan was just like, nope, don't care. It's going to suck. Nope. Very adamantly that was the case. But
True. Well, I don't know about suck. I just didn't think it was going to be that much better than Terra Mystica. So
this game is much better. It literally replaces Terra Mystica in every way, shape, or form. I would never pull Terra Mystica off the shelf over this.
Wow.
That's probably true.
Unless I was playing with people that have never played Terra Mystica, because I can't imagine trying to teach Gaia to people that have no base of reference in Terra Mystica.
No, that's stupid. I don't agree with that comment.
Yeah, I guess, but I've only taught it to people that have played Terra Mystica, and to me, it takes so long to teach them how to play that I'm like, man, this feels like it would be like an hour to teach people fresh.
I mean, so all you really have to adjust to is, in addition, let's go with what you have to teach in addition to Terra Mystica. Because obviously
Terra Mystica, and then
no, because you can ignore some of them. So, for example, the I don't remember what the cultist track is it's the same but different, right? So there's very minor differences on that cultist track.
Yes, it's you're right. It is exactly 3 times as difficult to teach now.
3 times? Because there's more tracks?
No, because there's 3 different aspects to it that are not in Gaia.
Sure,
that are not in Terra Mystica.
But you don't have to. But it's the same aspect with a little bit on top of it. I mean, so you have a modular map, right? That's different. You have the fact that you can regain power, and you have the whole I don't know what they're called, the terraforming planet things. Yeah, but it's not that much additional. I think you're talking maybe 3 aspects that take you 5 to 10 minutes to cover.
Okay, you're right. But I will say it's way easier to teach people that have played Terra Mystica because because you can teach it like oh, this part right here, that's how you dig. This part right here, that's shipping. And
I get it, but saying that it's impossible or that you would never teach Gaia to somebody who hadn't played Terra Mystica doesn't make any sense, because then you're going to teach them Terra Mystica and then Gaia.
You're right. Okay, I take that back completely. I will say, though, at this point, finding somebody that enjoys this weight of game that has not played Terra Mystica is kind of a rarity. Like most people, Terra Mystica is probably one of the more popular heavy games that has come out. And most people that like heavy games have played Terra Mystica.
Sure. Although I'm doing a direct Gaia teach tomorrow to somebody that's never played Terra Mystica.
Oh, that'll be fun.
It's going to be there for 3 hours teaching the guy.
Nah, I teach a lot of games. I'll be all right.
There is no aspect in which Gaia Project is not better than Terra Mystica. It is
I think I agree with that.
Ooh, I got a question for you guys.
Hold on, one exception, then I'll answer your question. One exception: your starting position can suck ass on a modular player board.
Yes, if you build it, whatever. But I've been doing it where I keep the 4, from what I've been reading on forums and stuff, if you keep those 4 center tiles and then randomly do it around with them facing the same direction, it really helps rebalance stuff a lot.
Okay.
But at the same
I was the orange thing, and I got stuck like entirely away from everybody. And I just knew early on that I didn't have a whole lot to go on from the benefits of building near somebody else's buildings. I built my own little pocket and then had to build in, and that was the problem.
So one more thing I want to really hit on Gaia. These races are so much cooler to play than Terra Mystica races. Like Terra Mystica races are like, oh, I'm these guys, I do this thing, right? In Gaia, there are some crazy powers that are I don't know what's overpowered, what's not. I have seen lots of different races win. I have not seen one race that's kept consistently winning, but the races are really cool powers. Like they feel very asymmetric, much more asymmetric than Terra Mystica did.
Okay, what's your question, Clay?
So Board Game Geek has Gaia Project, and this is Board Game Geek ratings, okay? So grain of salt here. The weight is 4.29 out of 5. Is that accurate?
Yes.
Wow. I'd
say so. I mean, Joe?
What the BGG weight? Who cares? The BGG
I know,
weight.
I know. That's why I said take it with a grain of salt. I just
I
wanted
mean,
to.
pick another game that's a similar weight, and I'll tell you if it's heavier or lighter. That's the easy way to say that. But
I would say this is as heavy, if not heavier, than any Vito Lacerda game.
Hold on. So Lignum, surprisingly to is 4.21.
heavier than Lignum.
Okay, that's what I would guess because Lignum
Yes,
is
it's heavier than Lignum.
You make Lignum how heavy you want it to be when you play that game.
It's definitely heavier than Lignum.
Yeah. Gaia Project, man, I really want to try this.
So I'm not buying a copy. I am not buying a copy.
Why?
I have a friend who owns it, and it's $85 at Cool Stuff, which means that it's ridiculously priced.
It's $100 MSRP. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm just not with somebody in my group that already has it. That is going to be basically the only person, or he's always going to be there if I'm to play it. Then why would I buy a copy?
I don't know. I like to buy games just to have them.
So do I. I mean, come on now.
But yeah, you're talking about $100.
I'm talking $100 that I could buy 2 other games for.
It's so nice to work for a company that makes these games.
Hey, it was really nice when I didn't pay for any games. That was a good time. Man. Times have changed.
I don't know. I used to get one of these days. Maybe I'll get a copy of Wildcatters. I don't know where my copy is.
I have one of those.
Oh, you got one of those. Oh, that's nice.
I still have to review it, but I have one.
Joe, yours got lost in the mail.
Obviously.
All right, so can I talk about a game now that's not as heavy as Gaia Project?
What is it?
Yeah, because I want to jump in on this too.
It's
Kalimala. I think he changed it.
No, Kalimala is the one I want to talk about because it's.
I think it's Kalimala.
Kalimala. It's Altiplano's cousin.
Yeah, Altiplano's cousin Kalimala.
After you shear the alpacas.
All right, let's get back on track.
Yeah, we're really devolving.
Yeah. All right, so Kalimala, real quick. It's pretty simple game. It's one of those games like accordion where it's really it's so easy to play. Like the rules are like you put a disc on the board and you do what's next to your disc.
That's nothing to it.
And then it's the strategy is just like you blow your mind because one of my buddies who's playing it was just like he got in. It was like 75% done. We're almost done with the game, and he's like, "Man, I'm just so like fascinated with this game. It's so simple to play, but the decisions are like intense. Like there's so much more going on. I can't wrap my brain around it. And I think it's cool that a game can do that. It's area control. I suck at area control games, but it's a blast. I like the game. It plays best at 4 in my opinion. But have you guys played Kalimala yet?
We talked about it last time, I think.
This game does that at all. I think this game is really, really like annoyingly simple. I don't think there's that many tough decisions to make. I think every decision I made in this game was like very easy. Like I don't know.
I'd put it in the middle of that. I'd say there's some interesting interaction with it, especially if the other players decide to avoid you.
Yes,
by actively not playing in areas where you were at. So I ended up in a scenario where the other players would not place on top of my discs, period. They just wouldn't do it. So I placed on top of my own discs and activated the pile of discs multiple times on my own. And it really worked out quite well. But I think you're underestimating the amount of tension that there is, Joe. But I would not put it at the same level that Clay is putting it at in terms of.
I think it's something that it's a nice. It has the feel of a classic style game, like a Puerto Rico, where you just the mechanics are so like compared to today. Jesus Christ, to today's standards.
Hey, for all the cussing we did, you did just mention Jesus, so there's that for you guys out there.
I haven't cussed that much this show. Only like 2 or 3 times this show.
But anyway, so to today's standards, like you would think that it's this old style game like El Grande that you're playing or Puerto Rico or something. And it's just it's fresh. I don't know. It's just it's a classic Euro. I don't know. It's something that's going to always stay on my shelf. I really like the game for area control.
I don't feel like it has enough teeth or enough making me scratch my head and actually like want to like. I feel like I'm just it's harmless, right? Like I could teach this game to anybody. I could play this with kids, but
Exactly.
like and it's fine, but it just there's not enough teeth there for it to keep my interest. I'm very bored playing it.
I can see
I
that.
can see what you're saying with that. Yeah. One thing I just want to mention with this is it's area control, and typically with area control games, it's very. I think of Dominant Species where you're just in the face of other people that you're playing with, and
Let's not compare Calamala to Dominant
I'm not
Species.
trying to compare. I'm just.
Oh my goodness, no! No.
The mechanics of area control in itself, you typically think of like in your face, commit, Dominant Species, where you're going to go in there and you're going to invade and destroy other people's cubes or whatever they have. This game is more elegant. It's more Euro-y, if you will, to do so, and I'm still terrible at it. So it's a different take on area control, in my opinion. So,
all right. Well, that's the games we've been playing. We will.
That was a long one.
Probably have
1
some
hour
more,
into the show.
Yes.
No, but we're still going to finish on time as I'm looking ahead. But we're going to get into something that I love to do, and this is our Geek Out segment. This is where we're going to talk about something not necessarily board gaming related, but we're just going to talk about something that we're kind of in the middle of, something in our life that we're doing, and just maybe not gaming related, to just tell you kind of what we're up to. But this is something we're geeking out about. Clay, go ahead, hit us up. What are you geeking out about, man?
I had a tough time picking this one, but we had a game day a couple weekends ago, and my two buddies, DJ and John, introduced me to Hearthstone, Blizzard, the World of Warcraft people or whatever. Have you guys played Hearthstone before?
Oh yeah,
it's a CCG digitally, and I just fell into the trap, man. I think it's really cool. It's a fun system. I'll play it when I got some free time, just a match or two or whatever, and it's just a fun. It's literally like Magic the Gathering, but it's all digital, and it's just they do Blizzard, man. Those guys do an amazing job with everything they release. It's awesome. That company knows what's up.
Yeah, they're not real good about doing it on time, but they do typically make good games.
Yeah.
I agree with you. I played a lot of Hearthstone when it first came out, and I essentially played it to death, and they hadn't released any new sets for a while, and so I got out. And then I just recently went back to it, and they've done a lot with the game since I came back. They've released a lot of new card packs and things like that. They've also added the solo adventures, like the dungeon campaigns that they have. I don't know if you've played any of those yet.
I just unlocked all the races, and I don't play it. This has been like 2 weeks since I installed it on my phone. It's like I'll play a match maybe every couple days, and it's just I finally unlocked all the races, and it's just the depth in this game is there's a lot to it, and it's good. It's fun, man. It's a fun game on your phone. That's a digital game I will play.
Joe, have you played?
I played it like once. I don't do that. That's not for me. It's not my speed.
That's what I said. Okay, yeah, go ahead.
All right. Oscar nominations are in. I love Oscar season. I love getting into it. I usually I make a point to try to see every movie that was nominated for Best Picture when the Oscar nominations are released. But I have really gotten into film lately, and when the Oscar nominations were released, there were a couple. I saw like 3 or 4 movies this week that were kind of in the nomination releases, and at this point, the ones on the entire list that I have not seen, I don't think I'm going to. So that's pretty cool. But I love it. I love getting into it. We're doing an Oscar poll at work. It's something I'm really passionate about. I love kind of like watching the Oscars live, rooting for it. We all know the awards don't mean a lot. A lot of times these awards are like given for like really dumb reasons and like to honor people for like stupid reasons and not necessarily for the film that they did or making up for something that happened before. I don't care. I just get really sucked into it. I love the world of film. I love the industry of film. And I'm really excited about the Oscar nominations. That reminds me. Another snub. It should have been nominated for something.
It wasn't
it should
nominated
have
at all, really?
Nothing category. Get Out got a lot of nods. Some people don't like that movie, but that's fine. But I was just surprised it got nothing, and that was really good.
It was very good. I agree. And I've seen a good portion of the Oscar nominees at this point, I think. I've certainly seen the top 2 contenders for Best Picture, I think. And we have some disagreeing opinions on those, I know. But, well, at least on one of them.
Well, I mean, okay, I think Shape of Water is a good one, but it was like number 18 in my top 20 of the year.
Yeah,
so
it's not that good. I mean, it's fine. 3 Billboards is far better. Far better.
My movie of the year. It's very good.
And so I haven't seen 3, I think, of the, so which is not, it's quite a few of the top contenders, but I'm slowly working on that. So I should have them all seen well before it's, actual Oscars.
You gotta watch Wind River. That is a really good movie.
Very good.
When you said that didn't get nominated, and I didn't realize that came out this year or last year, whatever. That movie is really good.
By far the best performance, Jeremy Renner. That's who it is, right? Best performance Jeremy Renner has ever given by a long time. The ending.
Did I see this movie? I don't.
It's the Indian reservation. There's like it's a murder mystery.
She's a police officer, and he's something or other or whatever. I don't remember.
And he's
the one girl from Full House.
He rides a snowmobile.
Yeah, there's some people that live off in trailers in the woods on the Indian reservation. I definitely saw it. It was good. I like that movie.
That's so good.
It was, and it kind of like came out of nowhere. Like, oh, I guess I'll watch this. Whoa, this is really good.
Exactly what my wife and I did. It was just we watched the trailer and bought it.
That ending catches you by surprise, doesn't it?
Yes.
Yeah, it was good. It was very good.
I did not see that coming. All right. Good. Anyways, Ryan, what are you geeking out about, man?
Same thing that you are probably. I know you have the same thing going on. So, man, Movie Pass. I don't know what the hell is going on with Movie Pass or why the hell it's not pervasive and everybody doesn't have a Movie Pass at this point in time. But Movie Pass is ridiculous.
What is it?
So Movie Pass, Clay, you don't know Movie Pass. This is ridiculous.
No, I saw this in the show notes. I'm like, what the hell is Movie Pass? I don't get it.
$10 a month. It's an app. Yeah, that right there. That's a Movie Pass. So the guy who founded Netflix, I can't remember his name. Anyhow, he's left Netflix. He's got this new baby project. It's Movie Pass. Movie Pass is a $10 a month subscription. There's apparently tons of problems with people getting their cards. So you sign up. They send you a card eventually. I got mine in a week and a half. I don't know. But you get this card. And at about 90-some% of theaters, you can go in there for $10 a month, and once a day you can see a movie. Any movie that you want, except for 3D and IMAX. No 3D, no IMAX. But any movie you want, and you never pay anything more than $10 a month, period. So if you want to go see a movie every day, I've used it 7 times in 2 weeks, which is pretty good. 7 times in 2 weeks. For $10, I've seen 7 movies in the theater.
Oh, you have to go to the theater with this card.
Correct.
Do they swipe it, or do they scan it, or what do they do?
So what you do is there's an app on your phone that you have to be within.
This is weird.
You must be within 100 yards of the theater, and you must reserve tickets on the app. So you go into the app, you choose your movie, you choose your ticket time.
So you go to the parking lot, and you're sitting in the parking lot.
Correct.
You're like, hey, what do you want to watch?
Exactly. Or you decide beforehand and you go.
Or you look at the app ahead of time and see what's playing.
Yeah, that's also
people
possible.
Don't plan ahead like that though, like me.
Then you get there and you have your card and you walk up and you ask for your ticket and you pay for your ticket with the card. And essentially, my understanding is they're loading the funds for a ticket onto the card when you pay for the movie. Now we found a little bit of bugginess with that in that my wife and I went on Discount Tuesday. We both rang up cards in the little kiosk thing, and then I swiped my card to pay for it and just paid for both of them. Because I think it loaded enough money for a full price ticket, and the price came out to less than a full price ticket, so both of them went onto my card. Whatever. But it works really well, except for the app is maybe the buggiest app I have ever seen in my entire life. It crashes damn near every time I open it. And then I just log back in. It's fine, but it crashes pretty much every time I open it.
So you can go to a theater that costs like $12.99 for a movie.
Correct.
And it's
Every
just
day.
$10.
For $10 a month.
I'm sorry, it's just $10 a month. And you could go this Saturday, you could be going to a movie theater that charges $11.95, and you get in with your card. And then next weekend, you do the same thing.
I
Every day.
I have used my card 18 times this month.
Yeah.
How do
I paid? I have seen $180 worth of movies for $10. Yes.
Wow,
it's ridiculous.
Insane.
And my understanding of how they're making money on it is two things. One, they expect that a bunch of people are going to subscribe and never go see a movie.
Yeah, right.
However, that's not going to happen. Or it may happen, but not to the level where I'm going to go see, 15 movies in a month.
I just need to see two movies. 2 movies a month.
It's one movie. It's one movie.
Or yeah, okay, one movie. Yeah, pretty much.
So okay.
Two, they're collecting people's information from their phones, right? Not their credit card information, but their browsing habits, their movie habits, clearly. And they're selling that information. I think that's the real money-making ploy behind this.
So I don't care if the government knows everything about me. I don't care if they know what movies I watch. I don't care if they know what porn I watch. Like, fine, that's whatever. They can know all that. I'll tell them. They can call me. We'll have a long conversation. But here's the thing: is I don't know if you've been to theaters, but if you're not going to see Star Wars opening weekend, most theaters are empty, and they need to find a way to make some revenue of people putting their butts in seats to go see a movie. I've seen probably 18 movies this month. I have not one time been in a theater that had more than 20 people in it. Tops.
You and I have very different experiences going to the movies then, because my theater is full most of the time.
Okay, so most of the movies I go see are early or late. And again, like, I'm not going and seeing like opening weekend, like I'm sure if I went on Friday night to see Maze Runner or whatever's coming out this weekend, whatever.
Yeah, it looks like trash.
No, I'm going like super early, Sunday morning to go see Hostiles, right? Like, and no one's in the theater at that. Yeah, no one's in the theater at that time. So I'm just in there enjoying it, watching Call Me by My Name at 11:30 p.m.
The showing of Den of Thieves I just saw, which was fine, by the way. It's an action movie, exactly what you expect it to be.
It is a shot-for-shot remake of Heat.
Yeah, it's exactly what you expect it to be. It was fine, but it was quite packed.
Did you stop at Hardee's on the way home?
No.
That was some really blatant product placement in that movie. All right.
Yes.
That's neither here nor there, but that's where get a movie pass. Really great deal.
Oh my God. If you don't have a movie pass and you can go see one movie a month, just get a movie pass. It's ridiculous.
Yeah. If you can use it once a month, it pays for itself. Anyways. All right. Wow. So we're moving on here, and we're going to talk about some other stuff, but we're going to get into our main topic of the night. And this is what we're going to be talking about is basically 2017. What was our gaming like in 2017? I'm really interested in this conversation. We've been doing this show for 1 year. This is our 12th episode. We've actually been doing it for like a year and a month or something, but this is officially our 12th episode, which is pretty cool. But we've been playing games for a full year, and I just wanted to find out how everybody's gaming year has gone. Like throughout a year, you experience some stuff changes. You've been doing the podcast now. Things shift, and I'm just curious, how was your 2017 gaming? Clay, you want to kick it off? Let us know, because things changed for you a lot. You became a full-time board game publisher.
Yeah, that definitely affected things. It's not a bad thing, but my focus was predominantly on Capstone's releases. So playing a lot of those titles. I've played so much. I think my most played game of 2017 is The Climbers, just from demoing at conventions, because you play the whole game there. It's so cool to do that, and people just it's just awesome to see the first time experience with that game. But yeah, that's what I've been doing is mainly it's you focus on the games that I'm releasing and just ins and outs of them, and then going on to the next game that we're releasing. So it's been more difficult in this year to branch out from that, aside from when I go to a game group, I bring 0 games. I don't bring anything. And I'm just like, you guys teach. I'm done teaching for a little bit. I just want to relax and just enjoy this moment. So But yeah, that's kind of what 2017 was for me. Lots of heavy playing of capstone titles, which is a good thing. And then just on the occasion when I get together with some friends, just playing some everyday games.
Cool. So I also had a similar switch. I got a job in the board gaming industry this year, started working for Panda Games Manufacturing. So one thing that really changed for me this year is I still love to play games. I still have 2 to 3 game nights a week. Love playing games. I just had a game night right before we started this podcast. I love games still. But one thing that I have seen change is I used to work a job that was not board game related. And most of my free time that I had was devoted to doing board game stuff, like whether I was just talking to people on the internet or doing stuff or, all kinds of different stuff. Like I talked to Clay a lot about like capstone stuff and everything like that. Like I was doing a lot of like board game related stuff that was not a job before I got this job. And I found that I use my free time other than playing games. I still play games all the time. I still love playing them. But like all that extracurricular stuff, I don't care. The last thing I want to do with free time is get on Board Game Geek. That's just the way it is. And I don't know if that's because I spend all day talking and looking and doing board game stuff and looking at Kickstarter and talking to people about board games, but I just don't want to do it when I'm not at work. And that's one thing that's changed. I still love playing them, still want to play them, but all that extracurricular stuff around board games has really shifted for me. So that's kind of been the way my year's kind of gone. What about you, Ryan?
I kind of had the exact opposite shift, where I had been doing an awful lot of, I wouldn't call it a job, but I guess I kind of had a second job for a long time, doing all of the reviews, right? I mean, I put out for a very long time 3 to 4 reviews a week, in addition to my full-time job that I was working. And so over the last 2 years now, it's been a year and a half, 2 years since I've really done steady reviewing. I would say that I've largely shifted away from, I can't say I've shifted away like from the cult of the new, because I still play a lot of very new games, but I've shifted into a position where I get to play a lot more of the same things, which I think is nice. So very rarely before would I play a game more than 3-4 times, right? Because I'd get it, I'd play it, I'd figure out if I liked it or not, I'd review it, and I'd get out. And I had to move on to the next thing because I had 40, 50 games in the queue to review. And I'm like, if I don't get past this game, like I'm done. So now, I have a couple games I need to review. For example, I'm still sitting on a copy of Wildcatters that I need to review for Clay, and I think Lignum as well.
What is going on with you, man?
Maybe the Renner too. Although the Renner wasn't for me, right? So that's a different thing. But and those are coming. But more and more, I take things at a more leisurely pace when it comes to playing these things now. Because what the hell's the rush? Like, if I review Wildcatters right now or I review it in a month from now, is it really going to change anything that drastically? No. People are still going to want to see the video. Maybe somebody will go buy a copy of Wildcatters because I reviewed it. Maybe nobody cares. But I think I'm taking
don't
a much more
underestimate yourself.
I know people care, but I'm taking a much more laid back approach to the gaming scene at this point in time, and just trying to play games as opposed to playing games for a reason.
You're playing games to enjoy them now.
Correct.
Is what it sounds like.
And if I get a review out,
then it's good. Yeah.
Yeah.
Hey,
exactly.
Bonus points. I got a review.
And I'd say that's happened a lot to me too, Ryan, because I used to be like, oh, these hot games came out, these Essen games, I got to play them, I got to talk about them, I got to know what's going on. And it's very much like, let's play Brewcrafters. Oh, this was fun. This is great. And it's better, right? It's more enjoyable.
Yeah, I agree.
All right. Well, I don't know, but do you guys track your plays at all in any way, shape, or form? Your game plays.
So I'm doing that this year. I downloaded the BG Stats app, and I had it for the iPhone 2 years ago, and then I changed to Android when I went to Capstone full time. So a lot has changed in that app, and it's amazing now. Like the amount of stuff you can the statistics in that app are just amazing. But I'm doing it in 2018 is tracking all plays.
All right, cool. So Clay, do you know how many games you played last year?
No, I have no idea. That's the thing is like when we do the show, it's like the reason why I want to do this app is because you'll have a game where you're like, oh my gosh, that was so fun, and then just because of circumstance, you won't play the game for the rest of the year. I want to be able to look back and see what I've played and be like, oh, I remember Pax Porfiriana, or I don't know, that's not a good example, but like just a game that's just like, I totally forgot about that, and that was such a good experience that needs to go into like that was one of the best experiences I had for the last year, and I just don't have that information available.
That's true. I've started tracking my stats with the BG Stats app this last year. I've been tracking it in other ways before. I just used like a document, but this was the first year I used the app, and I really enjoy using the app. It's been really good. So I have played 349 games in 2018. I'm sorry, 2000.
How many games?
I played 349 games or plays, 150 individual games, 94 games that were new to me.
Oh, nice.
So I actually did that breakdown. What about you, Ryan?
267 plays, 135 unique games, 128 of them new. So I only replayed 7 games. New. Realize that new only means wasn't logged previously. So it doesn't necessarily mean that it's actually a new game. It just means that I hadn't logged it before.
And that's because I just started using the app this year. It's the same thing. Like I started using it January 1st of this last year. And so every game is like a unique play. So that's true.
So I'm with you, Joe. Like I'm just a year behind because I just started doing that. And I think it's going to be really neat to see what that looks like at a year from now. And just to be able to look back and see, those numbers.
Yeah. Well, since Clay, I don't know if you might be able to answer this or not, but do you think that there are any games that you played that you dimed or nickeled?
Dimed.
Concordia,
The Climbers.
Well, let me ask you, do you feel that you actually got 10 plays of Concordia in?
No.
I think he did.
Maybe I did, dude. I don't know. That'd be once a month pretty much. Yeah, maybe a dime of Concordia. I really think that's possible.
All right.
Nickels, probably like Patchwork, Cave versus Cave. Just the lighter stuff, more or less. But all the capstone games are going to be in there if I would have tracked it. So when I go to a convention this year though, and I demo a game, that is not going to be tracked. What I'll track is when it's a game night and it's not for work. So
right.
I'll keep track of it that way.
What if we play a game after hours? Did you track that?
I would track that, yes.
All right.
If I'm off the clock, then it's tracked.
What about you, Ryan? Did you get any dimes or nickels in this year?
Dimes. So the difficulty is that it's hard to separate January from the rest of 2017 for me in the statistics. So Charterstone would have been a dime, but I think most of that was in 2018. So I'm not going to count that. Yokohama, definitely a nickel for sure. TAC, the abstract game from the Kingkiller Chronicles, I've played at least 5 times. Tramways, I got in at least 5 plays of. Lisboa, I got in at least 5 plays of. So nickels, a lot of nickels, not so many dimes.
So I was very fascinated by some of my stats. So 44 plays of prototypes, something I had to log as prototype because it's not in the BGG database. That was interesting to me. I really enjoyed that. Most of that was January, February for Clay, playing prototypes for him. 72 18XX games I played. 72 of them.
That's good, man.
I thought that was
I think that was one of your resolutions or something like that, once a month or something last year.
Yep. Dimes. So other dimes. This does not count, but I played the Through the Ages app 22 times.
Yeah,
So yeah, doesn't count. Absolutely did not count. Not in my stats, but I did play it 22 times. PAX. This is the one I'm most proud of. I played PAX Porfiriana 19 times this last year, which pretty good. Yeah. I can't believe how many new people I taught PAX Porfiriana. That is by far one of my favorite games in the world.
It's so good.
And then I played 11 games of Nua Heimat, and I gave Nua Heimat to Clay in like June. So I can't imagine how high that I probably would have quartered. That's like that is my go-to game when there's not enough time to play something full, but I want to play something good. So Clay has my copy of Nua Heimat, but I got 11 plays of that sucker in before I gave it to you in June. So
that could have been way up there, man.
Other things, Nichols, 1889, 1846, 1880, 1822, 18 Cleveland, Gaia Project, Pax Pamir, Indonesia, and Import Export, all 5 plays each.
That's some good plays, man, for Nichols. Wow.
Yep. A lot of got in my 18XX, some of the quicker ones, 49 or 89, 46 Cleveland. 22 was surprising to me that I got 5 plays of 22 in, and then 1880 as well. Those were some longer ones.
Joe,
but
if I know Tim's probably not on this right now, but just try 18 MS just for me, will you please? Thank you. Bye.
No.
Just try it, man.
Why?
It's so good. It's good.
All right.
I think you'll like it. I think you'll
whatever.
Like it.
All right, that's fine.
You're brushing it off already.
But those were just some nickels and dimes, some games that we actually all played enough times to say, probably is worth looking into if we played it 5 times, right? I'm surprised actually something that's not on your list, Ryan. I didn't hear Teach You.
Oh, I'm sure I played it 5 times, but I don't know. I just looked at my list of plays and was like, that doesn't seem right. It wasn't logged that many times, but I'm pretty sure it was played at least that many times.
All right. What about you, Clay? You, I was wanting to hit on the convention highlights. Did you have any maybe convention highlights you wanted to just kind of talk about real quick?
Highlights, the good points. When all my stuff was there on time. Yes, that was a highlight. Actually, probably Essen is probably the show for us. And we had a small booth. It was a 5x2. They do 5x2 meters. And next year we are meters. So that's meters dumb. Actually, I'm a super big time advocate for that.
I agree.
That metric system. But so 10 square meters is basically 100 square feet. It's a 10x10, and it's basically what we had for Gen Con, and it's just too small. So in 2018, this year at Essen, we're going to do 50 square meters, and it's going to be massive. And I'm really looking forward to it again. Essen is the show for any board game convention. Just a lot of good things going on there. And it's just really cool to meet, like, hey, Ian O'Toole, you just want to talk about some design ideas for some of our games. And then you go talk to some designers. They're normal people, just eating dinner with them at the Heavy Cardboard meetup. It's just, Essen is amazing. I absolutely love it.
What about you, Ryan? You got some convention highlights you want to talk about?
You know, I've cut way back on my conventions, kind of overall. So what did I go to this year? I went to Origins and Gen Con, I think both this year, if I remember correctly. Huh?
What'd you drugs say? Really mess with your mind.
Did I go to both of them? I think I did.
Yeah, you did.
And then,
but I didn't see you one time at Gen Con. Did you see him, Clay, at Gen Con at all?
Yeah, no, he was in the hot games room.
I was in the hot games room the whole time, playing games, actually. So I'd say those were good. I did love working in the hot games room. That was an awesome experience because, one, it's not that much work, and two, I got to play all the good hot games that were there. Other than that, it's mostly about smaller conventions for me. So I help run Gaming Hoopla. That's always a great time. I get to play a ton of stuff, and it all goes to charity. But other than that, it's kind of a small convention year for me. I didn't do anything like Essen. And I'm probably going to cut back even further and not even do Gen Con this year. I'm just not sure I care anymore. I'll have somebody else pick up games for me and bring them back.
Keep coming to Origins, though. Keep coming to Origins.
I like Columbus, so I'll probably keep coming to Origins.
Yeah.
All right. Man, it's an easy highlight for me, man. Gen Con with Panda was awesome. It was really awesome. It was so much fun to. It's maybe one of the biggest things that's ever happened in my life is this job. But yeah, it was really awesome to be a part of that. And Clay knows this. Clay's seen me at conventions. I'm in my element when I'm working at a convention. It's my favorite thing to do. And man, it was a really great experience just kind of getting there and to like meet people who I've been working on their game with them and like just talk to them, sit down, have a meal, just kind of do that face-to-face thing, have some like see some really cool stuff. It was a really great experience. And I'm looking forward to doing more of that this year. It's been really awesome. So that was kind of my convention highlights. Just the shift in my job means, I don't get to go to a lot of conventions for fun, but if going to conventions for work is the worst thing that you do at work, I mean, it's a pretty good job, right?
Yeah, it's still fun. It's still fun.
Exactly. Right. Yeah. But yeah, that was just something that I had mentioned, but I was curious because this is something I like to do. So the board game stats app, you can go back through, and if you log your plays right and you just don't like plop them in there, you can see days where you played games, right? And so sometimes like you'll see like a convention and you'll just see like, boom, a big stack of games. But do you guys have a best day of gaming of 2017? A day of gaming of 2017 that you can look back at and be like, this day was the best day of gaming. And I'll go first.
Yeah.
So I had 2 different days where I got to play 1822 and 1817 back to back. And both of those are big, long. I mean, it was like a 8 a.m. to like 2 a.m. day. Like that's how long the day was just playing those 2 games. But those were both really phenomenal games. But I would not consider those my best. My favorite day of gaming was at Ohio HeavyCon, and Clay can't steal this one from me.
Damn it.
I went to Ohio HeavyCon, and this was my day of gaming. One of my favorite people in the world, Damon, played Impulse with me, taught me Impulse. Terrible game. Did not enjoy it at all. But then I got to play 18 New York. Really cool, interesting 18XX game with Jimmy, the guy who taught me my very first 18XX game. That was fun. Then I got to play a freaking insane 5-player game of Indonesia that literally lasted like 5 turns. Like that was it. It was crazy. From there, I got to teach Clay his very first game of Pax Porfiriana and just watch him cuss in excitement the entire time. Then I played probably the most exciting game of Nua Heimat I've ever played in my life. And it was like the most amazing game of Nua Heimat ever. It was like the entire thing. Then I got to play one of my favorite games to take everywhere I go. And Clay was such a great guy and gave this game to me. We got to play Bodie McBoatface. I don't know what the game's called. I don't know what the game.
Kamotza.
I call it Bodie McBoatface. So,
you still have my copy. I forgot about that game.
You gave me that game. You're never getting that back.
Yeah, I gotta go get it at Essen again.
And then I got to play one of my favorite gaming experiences ever. I got to play The Great Zimbabwe. And we had taught Clay how to play, and we taught Clay's friend how to play. And me and Damon have both played several times, but never together. So we start playing The Great Zimbabwe. Ryan, have you played this?
Yeah, not a huge fan.
Okay. That's fine. That's fine. But we start playing, and we're kind of doing the first initial things. And then all of a sudden, Damon starts claiming not item spots, but resource spots to build his thing up. And I'm like, no. I was like, you have to, these resources deliver to these spots, and you need to use these to build your totems up. And he's like, no, you can use the resources. And I'm like, no, you can't. Resources go to the hubs go to the totems. And he's like, no. And I was like, yeah. And we actually called like 3 other people over who were like huge Splatter fans. And I was like, please tell him this is the way that this works. Because he would not believe it. He was like, He's like, I've played this game like 20 times and this is the way I play it. And we were like, no. And we showed him in the rule book, like, this is not how this works. And he was just devastated. He was just like, I have been playing this. And this was one of his favorite games. But he's just sitting there like, this is my favorite game. And I have literally been playing it wrong.
I've never played it right.
And he was like, I've only ever taught people this game too. So he has taught dozens of people this game wrong. And what a devastating moment to know that. And he just couldn't recover from that. He's just like, it wasn't like it was so far that he couldn't change anything, but it was just like, I don't know what to do now because I thought I knew how to play it, and now I don't know how to play it. And it was just really crazy. But that day was so good. The Indonesia game, the New Heimat game, PAX Porfiriana for the first time, an 18xx game. That was my best day of gaming. And I look at that day and I'm like, that might have been my best day of gaming in my life. It really was great.
Yes, I'm a part of it. Hey.
Mine's much shorter. I had a day where I got to play Tichu, Madeira, Keyflower, and New Heimat all in one day. I thought that was a pretty good day of gaming overall. Those are just that's a series of really good games in one day.
That's 2 for New Heimat, baby.
Any day you play New Heimat is a good day.
Yes. All right. So that was actually, there's 2 days that I'm really again, this BG Stats app, guys. I'm telling you, this is what's gonna make the difference for next year. I'm struggling to find days that are like that I can remember. The first one is HeavyCon. And then the second one is the time I went up to Cleveland to hang out with you guys to play. We played Gentis. Or I didn't play Gentis. We played the prototype and Dominant Species that night. And that was
prototype.
What?
No, we played Tulip Bubble too. We played Tulip Bubble. It's
which prototype?
Yeah.
The guys that did I'm not going to say anything about it, but because they don't want me to. But the Three Kingdoms Redux designers, they have I love the game. I am obsessed with this game. Some people are hit or miss on it, but it's definitely got some legs for it. And
this isn't hand jobs and blue cubes.
No, this is a brand. This is the people that did Three Kingdoms Redux.
Okay,
so
that game was bad. So
Three Kingdoms Redux?
No.
Oh, Blue Cubes and yeah.
Blue Cubes, yeah. That was not a good game.
I'm okay on it. Joe likes it. Tony likes it. But anyway,
I like it a lot.
Yes, and
you're poisoned by Ryan, Ryan Courtney. You're got poisoned by his.
I play with 2 Ryans, and if your name is Ryan and you play this game, you're gonna hate it. It's basically the consensus I have. So
it just needs fixes.
It does. But that night was great. We played Dominant Species. Tony ended up winning, and it was just fun, man. If I'm remembering this, then it's a good thing. So that's all I got to go with. I mean, I wish I had the BG Stats app to record more plays, but that was a good time for me. I really enjoyed it.
That would have been in my top 5 of the year. That was a great day. That Dominant Species game was so fun.
It was pretty brutal, but it was. We had Meat Jungle. What was the other sayings we had? Oh, hey, my hands are tied, bro. I'm sorry. I gotta go.
Sorry, Tim. It's the best move to wipe all of your people off. You know, we played that just a couple weeks ago with Tim again, a 5-player game of that. It was just as bad.
Yeah. Didn't you tell me just a while ago that game was like out of date and no good anymore? I'm pretty sure somebody said that on this show.
I would never have said that. So
I love that game. I've played it 3 times this year since you guys made fun of me at the very first episode last year for never having played it.
Yes, because you never. Yeah, now you've played it the same amount of times I've played it. I think 3.
I'm almost positive somebody on this show said that it wasn't any good, but that's okay.
Nobody said that. All right, so we've got one more thing that I want to talk about for 2017 is, did you guys play anything? It doesn't have to be a 2017 game, but anything that you played this year that was kind of like a hidden gem, like something that you just don't think a lot of people have played and you really would like to just be like, hey, play this game. Like look into this game, find it, give it a shot. It's something that you probably haven't touched.
I'll go first.
I got a few. Oh, will you go for it?
Yeah, because it's called Neue Heimat and it's coming out this year. Because both of you guys mentioned it. You both mentioned it as your it was in your top gaming experience.
It's very good.
It will make you remember the last time you played it. It has a good, memorable experience, and I'm so excited to be able to bring that to people. And
it never doesn't have a good ending, that's for sure.
It's such a good. It's just heart. It's just, oh my god! It encapsulates so many emotions in that game. I love the feeling that you get when you play it.
So I think I've talked about every game that I liked for the year. Literally, I think I've talked about everything that I liked. So no, I don't have anything.
So Neue Heimat, I guess that is a pretty underrepresented game, but like in the circles I run in, like it's like a thing of like renown, right? But I got a couple that I want to thing. I've had a game on my shelf for years that I haven't played. Like I bought this game like 3 years ago and never played it. And I just was always like weirdly daunted by the rules. And then when I got it out to play, it wasn't that hard. But Mermies is really solid. It's a great game. It's like a little Euro about building an ant colony. It's really
that's
great.
A long time ago. You're really going back.
Yeah. And so Mermies was something I would recommend as like a highlight from this year. I'm not saying it has to be a 2017 game, just something I played this year.
I got you.
Another one that I played that I was like astounded by was No Thanks. So No Thanks is like this.
Ooh, really?
Did you say
it's
no
like
thanks?
Yeah.
How do you say it from Cleveland? What's the Cleveland pronunciation of that word?
Yeah, say it again. Thanks.
No thanks.
What's thanks?
What's no thanks? What's a thanks?
Thanks? What do I have to say? Thanks?
Thanks.
Thanks. No thanks.
Thanks.
Hey,
Thank you.
All right, so I got to play No Thanks. All right.
No thanks.
And,
I played No Thanks.
So I got to play this game. It's one of those card games that's so brutally simple. It hurts, but the decisions are so tense. It's like Neue Heimat, right? It has that same feel where every decision is really tense and like you're weighing all of your options. It is. I thought so. Whatever.
No, just very, very basic. It's fine.
It's a yes or no. You answer yes or no every turn.
But it means a lot. Like there's a lot writing on that, and the way you do it. Like I thought there's no rules. The concept is like one rule, and that's it. Like front and back. Here's a card, front and back. There's the rules of the game. But for what it was, because of that, I thought it was really good. I really enjoyed it. And then I got to play a game that you two are pretty divided on, I believe. And I'm gonna.
Clay, his third one is Win, Lose, or Banana, though. I mean, so that's his big game for the third one.
I got a banana for you, Ryan.
Yeah.
And trust me, you're gonna win and lose. So my other one is I know that this is one that a lot of people are like, oh, I hate that game. And some people are like, oh, it's the greatest game in the world. I like Zangwo. I thought it was great. I played it like 3 times this year. I think Zangwo is a really good game.
It's a very good game.
No, it's not.
Well, you're dumb.
What's wrong with you guys?
You know what the problem is it's nothing like Concordia. So
it's cards though, but
it's not. It's got cards and wooden pieces. It's just
like
Age of Steam.
You have
it's just like Age of Steam.
You have 3 cubes that are different colors, and it's just, hey, I moved it up, I moved it down, and I moved my card here, and I put this piece there. I win.
It's really a great game. It's an excellent game.
It is really good. There's a lot of cool stuff in it. But those are some just hidden gems that if you haven't tried it or if you've heard something negative, I would say I've played these this year. I don't think I've talked about them on the podcast, but check them out. I think they're great. But we're going to get into just one little small topic that we have here, and we're talking about our resolutions for 2018. Make some board game resolutions, guys.
Hey.
All right. this is something really cool. But one thing that I want to do is to surprise you guys. I want to see how we did following up on last year's resolutions.
We had resolutions from last year?
Oh shit!
Yeah.
Are you pulling these up?
So I went back and listened to last January's
God.
episode. Actually, I made my wife do it. And I actually texted my wife while we were recording earlier, and I was like, "Hey, I forgot to do this. Can you listen to like the end of episode from last year, episode number 2, and give me these?" So she sent me a text with what our resolutions were. We're
I
gonna
have
see how
no
we
idea
did.
what they were. This should be fun.
So Ryan, you said that you wanted to get back to occasionally filming heavy game reviews.
So that I filmed 2. I mean, that's occasional. Not as occasional as I would have liked it to be, but I did do some of it. So partial success.
And you wanted to go to Gen Con 50.
I did that.
You're very
Apparently.
excited about it.
So I hear. So I hear I was there. So sounds good.
All right. Clay wanted to do 1 bourbon, 1 scotch, and 1 beer. And he wanted to play Urban Sprawl, a coin game, and an 18xx game. Clay, did you play an 18xx game this year?
I did. And it was called 18MS.
Oh, that's great. When did you play that?
I played that at PAX Unplugged with Tim.
Oh, that's right. All right.
It was good. I'm saying you need to try this game. It's really good.
Fine, whatever. Okay. Did you play a coin game?
No, I have Liberty or Death, and I actually am looking at it right now on the table. I am almost done with the tutorial, and coin games, guys, I feel like that's a thing that I want to get into.
Okay.
Oh my gosh. Liberty or Death. It's really cool, man.
The map is beautiful, isn't it?
Oh my god, yeah. It's awesome.
And then you wanted to play Urban Sprawl. So I remember making fun of you because your resolution was, I want to play 3 games. Clay, did you play Urban Sprawl?
He almost failed to play 3 total games, by the way. So
3 games that were not Concordia.
This is still unplayed, guys. I bought it like at Gen Con
Urban
20.
Sprawl. So Urban Sprawl is
I heard it's kind of old now. Like I feel like I should just get rid of it.
I would call it all right.
2 players, maybe only 2 players with this game.
Boy, I don't know.
Wow, you won't even play with 2 players, Ryan. I got to get rid of this game. I'm not going to.
No,
play
I don't dislike it. It's just so I was really high on Chad Jensen because of Dominant Species, right? Dominant
Combat
Species
Commander
is a masterpiece. Combat Commander is good. Dominant Species, the card game, is one of the worst things I've ever seen in my life. But I got that game, I played it, and I was like, this is good, but it's not great. Like, it's just not great. And it's a little longer than I wanted it to be, and I don't know. I wasn't huge on it. So.
If it's longer than I want it to be, that really doesn't sit well with me.
Right. And so that's where I ran into problems with it. I've played it. Again, I've played and owned a lot of games. I didn't keep it, so that says something about it.
Well, you did like Zongguo, so maybe.
Yeah.
Maybe
well, some of us
there's
have
some
good
hope.
taste.
There's some
Some
hope.
of us like Concordia a lot. So.
One more minute.
Yeah, I don't know when I'll get that played, honestly. Liberty or Death is definitely next.
Are you just reading the boxes behind you? What's going on?
No, I'm
Is it
looking at
Joe?
my resolution.
He's trying to figure it out.
Back my resolution.
You made it too complicated. Mine was easy. Yes, I did that, and yes, I kind of did that. Done.
Okay, so what I had a few. One of my resolutions was to have 0 unplayed games on my shelf.
Hard fail.
Yeah, definitely.
I've got like 40. And it's because I collect really weird games that I don't know when I'm going to play them. I just collect like really weird stuff that I'm like, oh yeah, I'll get this game. When am I going to play that? I don't know. I have a 24-hour long 18xx game. When am I going to play that? I don't know. I did have another one though, and it was to play at least 24 18xx games. That's 2 a month, and I crushed it. I tripled that pretty much. So
Yeah, you did.
I played 70 something of those this year. So what are going to be your resolutions if you've got a couple? Clay, what is your resolutions in gaming for 2018?
To play a coin game. I'm looking at Liberty.
You're like,
I will do it this year.
You're like, last year, I want to play 3 games. Did you? No. All right. What do you want to do this year? 1 game.
I will do Liberty or Death. That game is. I might even freaking solo that game. It's so interesting to me. I like that history piece. It's amazing. Coin game.
All right.
Cool.
What about you, Ryan?
I did not do this. So you told me to have 3 ready, and I said no.
Me too.
So I'm going to make them up right now as I go. I'm going to play at least 3 games 10 times. I'm going to go to HeavyCon because that's going to be good.
You're going there.
I am. I will be there. So it's an easy one to do because I've already paid for it. Really easy resolution to keep. And let's go with, I want to have fewer than 10 unplayed games in my collection by the end of the year, which I think is reasonable. Although I'm not sure how many I have currently, it's definitely more than 10. So.
Okay. So I'm going to re-up this year. 0 unplayed games in my collection at the end of the year. I'm going to do it. I'm gonna play 2019 The Arctic. I'm gonna play Haithabu. I'm gonna play Apid Mortaris et Popularis or whatever
Haithabu, that sounds familiar. I think I might have played that.
Probably. It was a Spielworks game. It's supposed to be really bad, but oh well. All right. But I'll re-up. So this year I had a baby. Things got a little rough towards the middle. My conventions weren't like all about playing games this year. Had to do some other stuff. I always make it a goal to play 365 games in a year. This year I only played 349. I was very discouraged. It was the first year since I got into board gaming that I did not play 365 games in a year. And so I really want to make sure that happens this year. All right, Clay, give us another resolution.
It's dinner time, guys.
Another resolution would be, gosh, guys, I don't know, man.
I know. He gives us all these like dictations that we're supposed to do, and I was like, nah, I'm not doing that.
Okay, so one of the things I really want to do is run a successful tournament for one of my games with Capstone.
A new Hymet tournament would be perfect.
I've got a couple ideas. I just want to see it come to fruition, and there's a lot of planning with that. So I think that's a good New Year's resolution, if you will, to have a tournament of a game that I conduct. So that's what I'm going to put.
All right, Ryan, what about you, man?
I did all 3 of mine already.
Oh, okay. Well, I'll go with one. I'll go with one more. I'll have one more. I am going. Okay, this is for sure, and so I want everyone to hold me accountable. I am going to design a game this year. I am going to do it, and I have a friend whose name is Andrew Plassard, and we had a 4-hour coffee shop meeting to brainstorm and go over everything. And we have like the bones of this game ready. We have a Google Doc. We are working on getting everything done. And we have a goal of having a prototype, even if it's completely broken, ready to just try by March 1st. That's our goal. Okay. So we're getting together again this coming Tuesday to make it happen. By Origins, I want to have something that I am okay putting on the table with people and getting criticism back. And by the end of the year, I want to have something, even if I don't find a publisher for it, even if nobody goes for it, something that is in a box on my shelf somewhere that I can pull off and be like, oh yeah, this is a game I designed. And I'd like to give it to someone. I'd like somebody to publish it. I'd like to get it out there. But we have this really cool concept. Like, we are super excited about it, but we are building a heavy economic Euro game about running a movie studio.
Oh,
and so
dude.
you are bidding on scripts. You are hiring directors and actors that need to work well together. You are, movies that do well are going to track better. You're building buzz and trying to turn that into money. You're trying to generate a hype for your awards at the end of every year. At the end of every award ceremony, those directors and actors and actresses that won go into a separate pool that you can pull from that cost more. We're very excited about the potential for it. But yes, we right now are building a very heavy economic game about running a movie studio. I'm excited about it's a theme I'm excited about. And so he's really invested in the mechanics. Right now, there's a bit of a very unique stock style way that the game plays. We're very excited. So
I have no fewer than 4 game document outlines in my Google Drive, and I've just never moved any of them forward. I'm terrible at it.
So this is why I wanted someone to partner with me in it, and it really has motivated me to really push myself to do it and to keep working at it. So March 1st, I will have a prototype to play. Even if it's terrible, I will have a prototype ready to play.
Wow.
So that's my big resolution. All right.
8 minutes.
So we have a Clay. We had a question come in. We had a question come in for Clay. All right. And so we're going to let Clay kind of answer this question. But this came in from one of our viewers, and they asked, Clay, come on, man. How big?
How big? What? Is Capstone Games?
He said, I don't need an inch amount. Just hold up your hands.
Oh my God.
He's actually asking how big the box for Pipeline is going to be.
Yeah, it's probably like Gloomhaven.
Speaking of laying pipe, so this is actually a really good question. All right, Clay, when Arkwright was released, it was a reprint, but when Lignum was released, it was a second edition. How does Capstone decide what's going to be a reprint and what's going to be a second edition? Because both of these games had additional content added to them, but they were still the base games from the original. What is a reprint? What's a second edition? How do you decide?
So second edition for us is going to be, it's completely, typically the artwork's going to change, and you're going to add so much to it that there's no possible way for there to be an upgrade kit for it, because in Arkwright you did have that upgrade kit that Spielworks put out. It like the Ruhr, which is a second edition of Rushafart, there's just so many changes to it that there's no feasible way to do an upgrade kit for somebody without basically having the same cost as the game itself. So that's the way I think about it. When we do like Three Kingdoms Redux, which was essentially reprinting basically everything that was in there, we did some enhancements to the quality of the game. That's when we'll just... The thing with Three Kingdoms Redux is there's so much balance in that game. I wanted to add more state enhancement cards to that game, and the designers were like, it's going to unbalance it just by adding a few different state enhancements. So we just ended up keeping everything the same and just enhancing some of the things to make it a little bit better. But that's pretty much what we do.
All right, cool.
I have a short weigh in on this, just from my perspective, what the difference is, and it kind of aligns with what Clay's saying. So a reprint, in my mind, is we sold out of the previous edition. We're going to release another printing of the game. Not much is going to change. So that's a reprint. You've printed the same game again. A different edition of a game typically has a component upgrade or a gameplay change or some type of modification to the overall game bundle that is, as you said, significant enough to warrant calling it a different product, right? A different edition of that game. And so in my mind, that's the difference between a reprint and an edition of a game.
I mean, that's a really good way of putting it. Like Agricola, the revised edition, is a completely separate entity than the regular base game of Agricola because there's so much that's changed inside it. So Yeah. That's Lignum is a second edition because of the amount of changes that were done to it.
All right, Clay. Well, here's a question then. Would you, how do you work with designers that, are coming to Capstone to determine if you're reprinting something that was published somewhere else to add extra content to the game? How do you approach that extra content standpoint? Like the expansion for Lignum, the extra stuff that was in Arkwright. There was a completely new game pretty much in Rushifart.
Yeah. So basically, the way I look at it is there's people out there that have the base game. It may be 10 people, it may be 1,000. And with Arkwright, it was 1,000. With Rushifart, it might have been like a couple hundred. But at the end of the day, there's people out there that have the original edition. I want to provide content for those people that have the base game, but just something more to it. Give them an incentive to look into our edition. I'm always about like just giving a little bit more than was originally designed or put in the original game. I wanted to do that with Three Kingdoms, but it just would not make the game as balanced as it is, and so that's why we released it as it just basically Three Kingdoms again, the same thing. So that's kind of what I look at is I like to provide more content in games, and after playing it, there's some things I have an idea for. Like maybe if we throw some of this extra stuff in there, it'd be kind of cool just to have this extra module if players want to incorporate that into the game. Sometimes it fits, sometimes it doesn't. So it depends on the game itself, but I'm always thought ways to include more stuff for people after playing it. Extra tile or whatever it may be. That's
all right. Well, great. Awesome. And one last question is, will there be a reprint of Arkwright?
Yes. So Arkwright is actually being reprinted right now. We're going to include some custom pieces for the factory goods tokens. So I'm going to actually release a newsletter here in the next couple weeks about that, and you'll see a ton of information if you're subscribed to the Capstone Games newsletter.
All right, and we have one last section that we're going to run through really quick is hype. Something that's coming out that we're excited about in the gaming world that you should be on the lookout for. Ryan, what is your hype?
Yep, Clay actually reminded me of my hype because I'm not good at remembering what's happening these days. So Nuno Santiero and Paulo Soldado have a game coming out this year called Brazil, spelled with an S. I know nothing about it except for that I love those two designers. I don't even know who's publishing it, but I'm going to guess what's your game. And with those designers and that publisher who I'm guessing at, I will buy it. So there you go.
I'm interested in this one because they said that they're going to run a Kickstarter for it because the components are so unique that they need the extra funds or something like that, which is weird, but also like really interesting. Like, what is this going to be like?
Yeah, whatever.
I'm in the same boat with you, Joe. Like, I don't understand.
All right.
Doesn't matter. I'm buying it.
Yeah, for sure. All right. So I've got one hype too. So Albin Viard is a god among designers. He is. And he's so handsome too. Oh my. Okay. Anyways. But he is doing this crazy thing where he's launching a second game line. Okay. So he is releasing, he right now has AVSG, which is Albin Viard Studio Games. That's what all of his clinic, small city stuff is under, right? But now he's releasing AVGSP, which is Albin Viard Game Studio Plus. So this is where he's actually launching games from other designers under his kind of umbrella. And I don't know what this is going to be, but I like Albin Viard and I trust him. But he has a game that's going to be launching on Kickstarter February 1st called Pulp Detective. Don't know anything about it other than that, but I am very curious to see because Albin Viard is my perfect marriage of a husband. No, of quirky and heavy. And I'm very interested in anything that he puts his stamp of approval on. So Pulp Detective is going to be coming out. Very curious. Doesn't look like it's something that I'm going to be crazy about, but I'm at least interested and intrigued. So watch out for Pulp Detective. Clay, what about you?
I got to talk about a game that we've mentioned before on this podcast, Pipeline from Ryan Courtney. We've been doing a lot of play testing sessions with this game. Yeah, have you played it, Ryan?
Once a long time ago.
Yeah, it's changed a lot.
I've heard.
To tighten up the economy, so there's no, like, if you've been experienced, you're still going to be in the running with. You're not going to have the splatter effect, is what I like to call it, where the experienced player just completely blows everybody away. That has been.
Heard it here first, guys. If you like splatter games, you will not like this game.
If you like splatter games, you will still like it. There will not be the runaway effect of a splatter release. But there's going to be two different versions of this game. There's going to be a basic version and the full-on version. And I think both versions are phenomenal. And you're going to see this game this year for sure. And once we're ready to release some graphic design information on this, I think a lot of people are going to be really excited to see where this game's going to go and what it's going to be. I know
a secret. I'm sure we all do.
I bet you do. But yeah, so that's what I want to hype, because later this year.
That secret?
Yeah.
That's a good secret. Yeah, you should keep that in your back pocket.
That is a good secret.
Secrets and secrets? Okay.
Secret. I've got a secret.
No, but seriously though, Pipeline though is going to be it's going to be a game that people are going to look at, and I think it's going to be a solid hit for 2018.
Awesome. Yeah,
it's good stuff. Ryan's a smart designer who doesn't play games, which is interesting.
I know, that's the weirdest thing to me, man. That's so weird.
And that is our episode. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. Thank you for listening. You can catch us on, if you really love Jesus and you do not like Ryan saying bad, naughty words, please send us an email.
Away.
Please chastise us. Send us an email. Let us know that we are in the wrong. Please do that. We would appreciate it. We want to hear all about Jesus. You can find us on Twitter at the Deep End Pod. You can catch us on Facebook. We have a guild on BGG. I think it's still there.
It is.
And then we have a Slack channel that somebody said something in this week, so that was exciting.
It was cool. Yeah.
Yes, we're just active individually. You can find me on Twitter at Cardboard Truth. Tweet at me. We'll talk. I'm fine with that. You can be my friend on Facebook, and we'll talk all day long about board games. I don't care. Ryan, where can people find you amongst the interwebs?
I do a lot of swearing on Twitter. So you can find me at Slacker on Twitter, SLAQR.
All right.
I think that's it. I'm on Facebook too, but yeah.
And Clay, where can people find you dressed up like a naughty, naughty nun?
That's the Halloween pictures, man. Jeez. Go to capstone-games.com. All of our information is there, including links to our social media and newsletter, which I highly recommend everybody being a part of. But yeah, capstone-games.com.
I think I subscribe to that.
All right, guys. That is it for us. Thank you so much. Bye.
Bye-bye.
See ya.